A few reflections on the Kirklees Council meeting that we had on Wednesday. I did my speech about the Kirklees Climate Change Action Plan, and I was quite surprised in lots of ways about the action plan and about the fact that there was so few commitments in it. In fact, no real commitments. And the plan itself said that that this was one of the areas that they might get criticised over, which I think is fair game, really. And so I felt duty bound to point out the fact that there was a lack of commitments there, that it was a non-committal report in its own way. Somewhat disappointed that that the cabinet member didn't answer any of the points that I made. I think that I think somehow or other it would have been difficult for him to actually say much about the points that I've made, because I was simply quoting from the report. The other thing that was big about the full council meeting was the fact that Tracy Brabin was there, Mayor of West Yorkshire, and I asked her a question about proportional representation, because I'd be interested in her views about proportional representation. What Tracy said was that she is open-minded about proportional representation, which open-minded is generally a good thing, isn't it? But actually doesn't say what your opinion or your view is, which was the frustrating element of that. The point I made really was the fact that the combined authority, which works with the mayor on policy across West Yorkshire, had no Green Party representation on it. Now, the thing that's frustrating about that was in the local elections that happened the same time as the mayoral elections, Greens got 10% of the vote. Yet we have no representation for the 61,101 people who voted for us in those elections. Lib Dems, who got 9% less votes than us, they have a member there, and so if we're actually going to properly represent people and their votes, it's vitally important that we make sure that they're considered, and that their views and their voice is actually heard on the combined authority. And I made this point to Tracy, and Tracy said, of course those people are represented, they're represented by me. Sort of. And she pointed to all the things that she was doing to arrest climate change. But of course, it's the Green Party's views, the opinions of the people who actually put their faith in us as voters, those 60-odd thousand people, which their voice and what they voted for is not being heard. So it can't, Tracy can say that, but it's not exactly the same. And I'm sure the Lib Dems wouldn't like it, or the Conservatives wouldn't like it if they were kicked off the combined authority and Tracy said, well, it's okay, I'll represent you. So that was somewhat frustrating as well. We didn't get round to the motion on the renewable energy motion that we put together. This is the second time it's been on the agenda, but has been dropped off the end. I did suggest in the mayor's briefing beforehand that we could actually vote on the motions at the end of the meeting with no debate, just so the business gets done. That was rejected in the mayor's briefing, and so here we are again. So it's dysfunctional, council meetings. They're not working the way that they should be doing, and I've got to say, a wee bit frustrated by it all. Okay. That's my view of the last full council meeting.